hwsteele here. It's been quite some time since I've done a video, probably a couple months now, that I figured since I have a little bit of time available to me right now, I will go ahead and do it. This video is going to be, I'm going to show you a method using geometry on a squared chart, how to anticipate when the end of the current swing is going to be. As you can see, this is a euro-US dollar. This is a 4-hour chart, so this is basically an intraday method of anticipating when the current swing is going to be finished. Now, if you trade the Forex markets and you trade any sizable move, you know that most moves last anywhere from a few hours to a few days. So really, the shortest time frame you would want to trade with would be the hourly chart, but the best one that I found that I personally like using the most is the 4-hour chart for trading the euro-US dollar anyway. So that's what I'm going to show this method with. Now let me just give you a disclaimer, this is not trading advice at all, and this does not work all the time, as nothing works 100% of the time. But when it doesn't work, it still gives you a fair amount of information about what's going on, and I'll talk about that as the situations arise. But the first thing we need to talk about is this is the euro-US dollar. It's a 4-hour chart. I've already squared the chart to 1-to-1. What that means is that 1 hour is the same distance as 1 pip on this chart. That means this chart is scaled to square, or it's just simply squared, as in if you drew a 45-degree angle, it would be the exact same amount of time as price that passed at any point along that line. And speaking of the 45-degree angle, what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and drag my line studies tool over here, and what I'm going to go to is the trend line by angle tool. And what I want to do is draw one trend line 45 degrees and turn the ray function off. So it's, oops, there we go. So it doesn't go off into infinity. And then we're going to draw another line at 315 degrees, which is just 45 degrees down. Turn the ray function off there. Now what we're looking for is the bottom of a move, or the top of a move, and for instance, we'll go ahead and use the slowest low right here. This chart is actually the current chart where since this low, we've been moving up in the euro-US dollar. Today is the 10th of June, Monday. But we'll start with this low right here. And what we want to do is we want to find the candle or bar that's at the very lowest point, such as this one right here. And then we're going to take our angles and put the 315 on top and then the 45 on bottom, just like that. And then we'll go ahead and get the vertical line out. And where these two lines cross is going to be approximately the end of that particular swing. We see that the lines cross right about here, and it gives us this point in time as the probable end of this particular swing. And we see that it was fairly accurate. Now if we go ahead and move our angles to this top candle right here, since that's the actual top of our next swing, we'll see that these lines now forecast, I don't have to put the vertical line there because you can pretty much see it, but they forecast right in between these two candles, this low right here. And if we continue with this method and put our angles down to this low candle right here, we see that where they cross is very close to the actual high right here. See that it actually crosses between this candle and this candle, with the top and price being right here. So that was, like I said, it's not exact precise, but it's very close and gives you a very good idea of when the current swing is most likely to end. Now moving along, we see that this giant candle right here is the top of our next swing. So we'll go ahead and measure that there, and then we see that we basically have a failure right here, because this right here, where these two lines cross, is nowhere near the bottom of the next swing. And this is something that happens relatively frequently. Now when this happens, if you'll divide by 2 or divide by 4 or multiply by 2 or multiply by 4 as needed, you'll almost always come to the end of the swing. Let me show you what I mean here. If we count these candles as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, then 18. Half of 18 obviously is 9, which brings us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which obviously is not where we need to be, but half of 9 is 4.5, and we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4.5 would be between these two candles, and you see that the low was right there. So in actuality what happened is this forecast, we needed 1/4 of the amount of time that was actually given by this forecast to get to our next low, or the end of that particular swing. Now in this particular instance, there's a very interesting curiosity. When you have candles moving up like this or down, it doesn't matter, but then you have the actual top or the bottom is a huge candle compared to what comes before it. A lot of times, if you actually use your angles off of the candle that comes right before it, it will give you the forecast that you need. And as you can see, this lands in the same area between these two candles right here. So that gives us the same forecast as 1/4 of this larger candle right here. So seeing that this top right here was this huge candle, that gives you a heads up that there's a very good possibility you may have to divide the forecast that was given to you by this large candle, and that there's a very good possibility if one of the divisions of this large candle matches the same forecast that the candle before the large candle gives, that's what the actual turning point is going to be. Now moving along here, we have the bottom right here. And if we move our angles to that, and this right here, we see that the forecast lands right in between these two. See if I put the horizontal line right there, it doesn't land exactly on the crossover, it's either before or after, and our high right here is right before it, so that's a decent forecast right there. And then if we go ahead and move our angles again up here, we see that we have an issue that the forecast comes out and it's nowhere near the actual bottom that we're obviously don't know at that point in time that's going to happen. But so what happens is we need to multiply forecast time. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10 candles, so we need to do 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So that gives us right at this candle right here, which just happens to be the low. So 2 times our forecast right here is the actual end of our down move right there. Moving along, if we go to the low candle of the next swing right here, we see that the forecast of this comes out right here, and it's not actually what we're looking for. So if we do 1, 2, 3, let's put this over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that makes this candle 2 times our forecast gives this candle as our turning point, or the end of that particular swing, and we see that it's fairly accurate right there. Now moving along, let's go ahead and move that out of the way and go to our candle right here to create our forecast from the top of that swing. Now we see obviously this forecast is not giving us the turning point we want, but if we count the candles again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, divide by 2, which gives us 8. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have this candle right here as our forecast turning points, which is very close right there. So this one just happens to be half. And notice that this is a large candle also. So if we use the candle right before it, we find that we get almost exactly the same forecast as we would have by dividing this candle by 2. So it's off by a little bit, but it still gives you the same general idea. Had you used other signals to go along here, as I wouldn't use this method alone as a way to trade the market. It's a very good tool to anticipate the end of swings, but it's not necessarily a very good thing to use in and of itself to trade with. But it did give a good indication using the candle before it right there. And we see this bottom right here happens from this candle, or move the angles right there, and we see that this doesn't land on the proper point. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or it could be 10. We'll go with 10 because I almost always go with the count that's to the left of the square. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then multiply by 2, we get 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, which puts us right here. And obviously that's not it either, so if we add 10 more, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that gives us this candle right here as the end of our swing. That's 3 times the original forecast, which is an odd thing to happen, but it does happen, obviously, as you can see right here, every once in a while. So at 3 times the forecast right here, we got the approximate top to this move right here. Now, one of the ways you would have been able to anticipate that that's what it is the fact that this was such a sideways move right here. When you see the market go up like that, it does come down a little bit, but then it just keeps going sideways and sideways and sideways. So you can anticipate having to add, not just the 2 to it, but add the third 10 to it to get the forecast point. But there's actually another method, and it's a little bit involved. I'm not going to go into it right now since the video is already almost 12 minutes long. But if we go ahead and use this large candle right here as our current forecast, we see where it crosses over right to the left of the cross right there. Oops. Drag the chart up there. We see that it's our high right there. Now, if we use our high as a forecast right there, we find that where it crosses, we get the low right here of this particular swing. And then if we use this particular swing right down here, or this low candle to the swing, it measures out to be right here, right about this point in time, one of these 2 candles. So what we're looking at current market price right now is either we're at a point where the market will turn, could very well turn and move to the downside again, or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, where that could be the point in time that we would look for the market to move to the downside. And I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen now just from this method right here, but I would suspect that this 2 times the market, or the 2 times this candle right here, would be the more likely possibility. So that being said, the video is already almost getting close to 15 minutes long, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I've given you pretty much the basics of this anticipating the end of the swing method. It's basically you just scale your chart to a square or 1-to-1 on the 4-hour chart of the euro-US dollar, then put on a 45-degree up angle and a 15-degree down angle, or 45 up, 45-degree down angles. Use the last candle or bar of any swing, and it should give you, when the lines cross, it should give you the end of the next swing, or the current swing I should say. If not, then it's either going to be a multiple or a division of the forecast. And I've had people tell me that this is the most incredible thing that they've ever seen. I've had other people tell me it was a complete waste of time too. So it just basically depends upon how you personally look at the market and whether or not you want to use it to help with your trading. There's other things that actually help the precision of this method, but I'm not going to discuss them now. I may never discuss them. If you experiment with squared charts and angles and things of that nature, it's very possible that you yourself may come across those enhancing methods or come up with something that's even better with that, for that matter. So I hope you get something out of this. I'm running out of time, and I've got other things I have to do now, so I hope this was something that you find interesting.